Good morning. I'm here. Hello. Hello, hello. Today, I am going to play some of the Sensory Overload demo. Hooray. This is a good. I saw that this got released the other day, and I downloaded it, and now here we are. I'm gonna give you a content warning. There's flashing lights. The lights are flashing. So if you're sensitive to flashing lights and noises, don't watch this. This one's kind of in the name, I feel like, but content warning. Sensory overload possible. Intended even. I saw this on YouTube Shorts a while ago, and I was like, that's kind of cool. And I wishlisted it, I think, on Steam, and then they sent me a notification like, hey, this thing is a demo. And I said, cool. Cool, that's awesome. So, can I pin a message in chat? How do I do that? I don't know how to do that. Whatever. Oh, I need Twitch open. Oh, I closed Twitch. No. Okay, I'd let the song play, but there's gonna be other music, so I'm killing it. Sorry, Tim. Sorry, Tim. This is the sound I've been listening to for 5 minutes. It's going away again. Now it's back. Yeah, let's just get started. I have nothing else to say. Nothing important is happening. Okay, there's stages 1 and stage 2. It's a lot. Speed. Roll. Okay. So the mouse to move left and right. Dodge obstacles. Okay. So space begins. Oh my gosh. And then up and down. Wait. Okay. Dodge. 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 Am I a single point, or am I more than 1 point? Oh, and they're moving. Okay, I'm a single point. I thought that maybe I had like dimensions of some sort, but I think I am literally this reticle. Okay, watch the autopilot demonstrate grazing. Pass close to obstacles without touching them. Each graze builds more multiplier. How close is a graze like this? Cool. Someone just text me? I heard my phone go off. It was an email from Card Kingdom. Fantastic. Well, I don't need that. I have not bought from Card Kingdom in a while. Okay, tornado. Wait. Press S to go to the next level. That's skip. W. Oh, there's just up, down, left, and right. And then play run. Okay, there's practice mode. There's ranked. Nice. Okay, so this is the first one called Tornado. Tornado. As I've heard some Europeans pronounce it incorrectly. It is tornado. If you were wondering, if you were concerned about how to pronounce that word, it's tornado. So I can build up multiplier by grazing. And that's what I want. Is that the goal? Is to get like a lot of points? Oh my gosh. Oh. I can't tell if having like a really twitchy mouse is good for this or not. Oh shit, I almost hit that. Hell yeah. Who did the music for this? We gotta find out who did the music for this, because I don't... Oh, damn it, I ran into it. Shit. Piss. I'm getting a little too fancy with it, I guess. Oh. I think maybe having a slower mouse might be beneficial. Because if I move the mouse an inch to any side, I slam into everything. Why do I feel like clicking just changed something? Did clicking change something? Or am I having a hallucination? Ooh. See, I tried to dodge something, but way too quickly. And I just tried to slam myself into the ceiling. Like a rogue jet slams into the ceiling of nothing, because why would you run into the ceiling of anything as a jet? Typically, jetting is outdoor, not indoor. If you could fly a plane indoors, I bet you would. I know you all in the audience are thrill seekers. Oh. Shit. It is actually kind of difficult. Why is this difficult? I don't think it's actually... I think I'm artificially difficulting this. Because I'm so keen on this graze mechanic that's been introduced to me. But I'm too focused on sort of hitting stuff that I'm not worried about actually hitting stuff. My fear has been removed. Okay, hang on. Please do not advertise Discord or anything. You will be permabanned. Thank you. Farewell. It's a one and done thing. Don't do that. I have no patience for it. It is incredibly... I think it's incredibly annoying. And typically it's bots doing it, so I don't have to feel bad. If you do it, I will assume that you are a bot and I will smite you from the atmosphere. Now, for my future AI overlords, I'm not saying that you're bad. I'm saying that this Discord bot that wants to fish me or whatever this is an asshole. Alright, it's not you, it's them. Which sounds like something I shouldn't say. Honestly, that sounds pretty bad. I didn't expect how this game would feel when I got my hands on it, just watching the developer talk about it. But I am kinda locked to my screen. I can't look anywhere else. It's upsetting me. The only reason that, and well, I guess that fits. The only reason that I saw anything else off to the side of the screen was because humans are designed to see motion. Although, which is why I couldn't see that, because it wasn't moving. It was just stationary. I one time, oh my gosh, what is going on? I one time was with a family member and we went to Burger King. Y'all know Burger King? That it's like McDonald's, but way better. And people will hate me for saying that, but it's the fucking truth. McDonald's has gone to such shit that Burger King is eating their lunch and no one's realized it yet. Like, of all the shitty food you could get, Burger King just tastes better now. Because McDonald's has dropped the ball. And a lot of their food is filler bullshit. And, you know, I'm tired of pretending that I didn't like Burger King before. Everyone was such a McDonald's fanboy. I had to be like, no, McDonald's way better than Burger King. And now I can tell the honest truth, which is that their weird, astringent chicken nuggets are actually pretty decent. And I kind of like a lot that you get 8 of them instead of 4 of them. Because I'm a fat ass, and that's okay. And we can all like what we like. But if you like McDonald's over Burger King, I think you've got a fucking screw loose, if I'm being completely honest with you. I was at Burger King with this family member, and I don't want to disparage them, but at one point, we went and we got Burger King. We ordered through the drive-thru, or no, we ordered through the drive-thru, and then they had to use the restroom. So we parked that. We ended up parking the car anyway, which already. Oh, there's a stink bug. Hang on. Shit, it flew away. I tried to grab it. Is this a good score? A good score. Where'd my fucking mouse go? I kind of needed to play this game. Someone has 262,000. Are they botting this game? My score's not good at all. Damn it. All right. So they go inside to go use the restroom, and they come back out, and we get on the road, and this person who is in the car is the person we're expecting to. Oh, that's a little bit tight tolerances. Is the person we're expecting to pass out the food. They're the passenger. My mom is driving the car, and we can't find the food. We get on the road, and we're like, where's the food? Where's this food at? And we look all over the car. I'm checking the seat, the pouches at the back of the seats, you know, looking for anything that'll get me this damn old Burger King, right? And it takes us like 20 minutes to find out that our passenger, the person who's supposed to be passing out the food, when she had gotten back from the restroom, sat on top of the bag. She just whole plopped down on this bag of food, and we couldn't find it. And we had a good laugh about it. But then we got Burger King again because, well, I don't think anyone wanted a well-warmed ass king, right? And that's a new term I just came up with for Burger King, by the way. If you eat Burger King that has been sat upon, there's the name for what you're doing. Good job, me and you. Because you picked the superior burger joint that you can get for cheap-ish. It's not cheap anymore, but I actually think Burger King is still cheaper, right? Because they wanted to compete with McDonald's. And it actually tastes like food. It tastes like unhealthy food, but that's fine. So does frickin' McDonald's. Doesn't even taste like food anymore. Now that said, I could absolutely crush like 100 chicken nuggets. There's this whole thing about like, could you eat 100 chicken nuggets? And yeah, of course I can. It wouldn't even be difficult. And in fact, it's so undifficult for me that I have done it. When I turned 18, I was like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a big Lego set and 100 chicken nuggets, and I'm going to fuck up a whole evening. And it was great. Oh my gosh. This is really hitting. This is great. This game is a ton of fun. I hope this isn't making you too nauseous. If you're out there and you're sensitive. I've got one of my family members has epilepsy. Not the same person who sat in this Burger King, but has epilepsy, and they could never play this game. I also think they'd get pretty bored. Although they don't like games with any story. He plays Assassin's Creed, and he's like, Assassin's Creed is so good. And then I watched him play it once, and he skipped past all of the dialogue and story beats. So anything that is story or dialogue, he doesn't engage with at all in a video game. And I was like, well, if you like that, you should play Dark Souls. And he tried Dark Souls, and he was like, this is fucking stupid. I keep hitting stuff. But also, part of Dark Souls is being able to get any information out of the dialogue, and I don't think he gels with that, so. Damn, that thing really did move to kill me, didn't it? So are the people getting ridiculous points just near missing every obstacle? Because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm like shooting the smallest gaps just to try and be included in the top 10 list, but they could also be botting or something. Or hacking. Are they hacking the leaderboards? I like that this game has leaderboards, right? This is just a demo. And it already feels very complete. I'm excited to see what else they add. Like 1,000 more levels. Also, part of playing video games for me now is just trying to figure out how they've done all of the mechanics. Because I'm a programmer, this stuff is very interesting. Like, I can imagine how you would set this up. I don't know how I didn't hit that great, but I did hit... I'm just not going to think about it too much. I just need to... I mean, I don't really have to try to lock into this one. Usually I have a ton of trouble with speaking and exercising any sort of visual motor skills. And with this one, I feel like I'm not having to put in nearly the brain effort that I would for like Hollow Knight. The amount of focus that playing Hollow Knight takes me is ridiculous. It's not that it's a difficult game by my standard. Holy shit, this goes fast. By my standard, it's that it takes up a lot of brain processing, so I can't really talk too much while I'm playing it, or I'll mess up. Or it'll be nonsensical speaking. This is really doing something. Although I did just eat and I'm feeling a little bit nauseous. Just a little bit. But I've also got an iron stomach. Also, I can play this one-handed, which is fantastic, because I can drink tea and stuff. You thought I was going to say something else. But no, I don't have to engage with any typing or movement. Maybe that's it. Maybe I can't speak and do things with both hands. Because I can speak and play this one one-handed. Right? It's a one-handed video game, mouse only. But a Hollow Knight is a two-handed video game, or a Cuphead is a two-handed video game, or Dark Souls, Elden Ring, whatever you want. And I think that just makes me better. Okay, I've got a gripe about Elden Ring. For whatever reason, YouTube doesn't know. This is actually a gripe with my whole life. YouTube doesn't understand what I want. I don't understand how it doesn't understand. There are a few channels that I've watched all of their, like, almost every video they've put out. YouTube will not recommend to me any of those videos that I've already seen, which it loves to do with other channels, or any of their new stuff. It just won't recommend it. And I find this incredibly frustrating. But for whatever reason, it will just spit out whatever I watched like 4 months ago that I was slightly interested in one video, and it's like, do you want to watch their whole catalog? Not really, no, but I guess that this is my only option, because it doesn't show me anything else. And it recommended me a bunch of old Elden Ring videos, back from when the game came out, when Shadow of the Erdtree came out. Like, I mean, glazing up Elden Ring's fine, because that game's good, but Shadow of the Erdtree, I just get reminded about how bad, how much I dislike that DLC. Every time I see it, and it's like, this is incredible. It's like, it's an inch deep ocean. There's nothing there. It's all the same stuff. It's the same stuff we got before, but worse and much less of it for very expensive. Like $40 for the Elden Ring DLC. Now thinking back on it is ridiculous. That was just a waste of money. It had one really good boss fight, though. It would be a really, really solid $20 DLC. It'd be the best DLC they put out if it was $20, but for $40, twice the price of any of their other DLCs? And it's not like we got a lot of new stuff. We had the best spell for a while. That was cool. And then they nerfed the shit out of it. And now it's, like, not useful. What's new? Me having gripes with video games. Okay, that section was really difficult. This section's really difficult. What the heck? Why does it keep saying Death Wish? Is that like you've hit something? If I hit something, is that... Do I get like a health loss? No, because I can just run into stuff. And it kills me. I'm also very excited. A Kickstarter I backed called Neon Odyssey is doing crazy numbers right now, monetarily, and I'm very excited for the team that runs it. I'm very excited for this product to actually release at some point, to be available in whatever form. I'm excited for the summer playtest because I'm going to run stuff in it, or I'm going to try to. One of the players who was interested in doing summer playtest stuff is literally having a child, so that's probably not going to happen, but we can hope. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm still hitting obstacles, and it's not punishing me for hitting them. I feel like there's some hit detection stuff going on, but I'm also not entirely sure exactly what. So is Death Wish bad? Is Death Wish marking me off? I can't look and read over there. I wish that these notifications popped up somewhere else. So like if they popped up closer to the center of the screen and I could actually see it, and then you need an option to turn it off. Obviously, if you're trying to just get some background content for your I don't know, reading Reddit video or whatever that this game is going to be used for consistently for the rest of time. By the way, good job. You've made a game, you've made a game that will be the background for reading Reddit videos for 100 years or whatever. I'm surprised no one's done that with the Run game. The Run Flash game. That game was so good. I had a friend in high school. We had a programming class, a video games class, where we had to build or design and build a video game, which we were the only group that did it out of the whole class, by the way. The actual task, the goal and achievement we were meant to complete, we were the only group that did it. And I have to say, I love you guys, but no fucking thanks to my teammates. You guys made a lot of art for the video games, not a lot of programming. But we also didn't learn programming in the class. We didn't really learn anything in the class. We just kind of fucked around with the computers, which was a fun thing. And I learned programming because I had to take the initiative and I wanted that to be my job. So, but we played Run 1 through 3. 3 was kind of mid, but 1 and 2 are iconic. Me and a friend had a challenge between the two of us to see who could. I mean, we had plenty of challenges, right? We competed to see who could memorize the periodic table first. We competed to see who complete all 3 Run video games, the Flash game, on coolmathgames.com first. I don't remember who won that one. I know I did the periodic table, but I'm also the memorizer. In middle school, I memorized like 300 digits of pi or something stupid, because I wanted to do something smart in my whole life, and I was like, this is a smart thing nerd people do, and so I did it. And now here I am. I know this many numbers of pi: 3.14159265535. No, I think I messed it up. I know that many, however many that is. I'm sure it'll never come up. It's my voice. Yeah, my voice is coming through. I always gotta check, because sometimes my microphone, my preamp and everything does something bizarre, and then I have trouble with that in editing. Snack, what's wrong? My cat is upset every time I speak to someone he can't see. I think it's because he believes that I'm speaking to him and that he's like getting commands of some sort, and he doesn't understand what command it's trying to be, so he just freaks out like I don't know what to do. Oh, I panicked and I jolted my hand. Is it attempt 40? I love that it shows your attempts on screen too. I feel like this game, Elden Ring devs from Software, I know your name, has to take notes. All we want is the fucking attempt counters on the bosses. Whenever you get into a boss room, it should tell you the number of attempts on screen. Keep a lot of people from faking shit. That's not even really an issue, I don't think, but If it were an issue, that's how you'd solve it. Like, if Doom can have an integrated speedrunning clock, can we get an integrated attempts counter for Elden Ring? For each boss, and you should be able to go back and look at it. It should be like Minecraft, where you can see all of every statistic that Minecraft keeps track of should be a thing in Elden Ring. And I hate to say it. There should not be quest markers in Elden Ring or another FromSoft game. No quest markers. I like that. I like that everything's vague and you have to go figure stuff out. That's kind of cool. That's like their signature style. But a book that tells you who you've talked to and what they've said would be perfect. I mean, literally just whenever you've discovered new dialogue, put it in a book. Give me a searchable library of text that this game has produced, because it produces so much text. All the similar Souls-like games do the same thing. They give you a lot of text and a lot of narrative. And my cat has just done a full lap around me. Snack, what's wrong? Ah! Why is he making that sound? Cats make the darndest sounds. I don't know what he's trying to say, but I think it's something along the lines of, I would like more food, which is usually what he's trying to tell me. I'm really fucking this up now. I don't know if this game is meant to be difficult. I don't know if other people have trouble on this level, but also I'm not focusing at all. Like, I'm hardly even really looking at what's going on. I'm just kind of moving on instinct, which is how I operate in my daily life. I just do things. Very little thought goes into what I'm doing or why. Because if you think too much, you just end up making yourself upset. You know, your brain wants you to be in a heightened state so that you survive things. But often being in a heightened state leads to really poor quality work. So you're better off just chilling the hell out. That's something I need to learn for D&D. I almost TPK'd a party last night. It was incredibly close. And like, obviously I don't want everyone to die. Like, one of the NPCs died, perished completely. Which I did not intend on. And I'd kind of like to see the party succeed. I mean, they've succeeded everywhere so far, but they're up against an enemy that they might not be able to beat. And I'm excited to see that. I was trying to find the line of like what's way over their, or what's over their capabilities as a party to be able to defeat. And then I want the boss battle to sit either at that spot or just one level past it. Because you're fighting a boss. Fighting a boss should be a fight to the death. Like, you should spend every resource to kill a boss. Especially if there's a level locked behind a boss. You need to spend every resource you have. Like, leveling up is an earned thing. For this campaign. Okay, Death Wish gave me plus 500. So they're just... My guess is people have a task that they're using. And they're just programming it to... Oh my gosh. What is going on? And they're just programming it to go as quick as, or to go as near as possible to all of the obstacles. And they've just dialed it into how finely can I control a mouse. Or people are incredible at this game in a way that I just can't comprehend. I feel like I made it pretty far that one time. But I am excited for this. It did not go as optimally as I planned, especially last night. I was just exhausted by the end of it, and I was like, I can't keep running enemies or role playing or doing any more story stuff. I need to go to sleep immediately. Which is the worst thing to have when tensions are high, like an important NPC has just perished. You're stuck in enemy territory. You've killed, you know, 10 or 15 out of what is probably 60 to 70 enemies. And you're trying to fight your way to this boss, and just everything is bearing no fruit. And it's like, how do we get ourselves out of this? That's not the best time to be tired. We're supposed to be playing again tomorrow. I'm not sure if that'll actually happen, because it is hard enough getting one session a week set up. It is probably not possible to have 2 sessions a week. At some point, I'd also like to try a paid session of D&D. I'm a little bit nervous about not living up to people's expectations and having unhappy customers. That's just not something I want to deal with, but that is a journey I will have to take to be more confident. But there's something about, well, part of it's that the economy is in the shape that it's in, and I don't want to risk taking money from someone who really, like, who really doesn't want to afford to have a bad product experience. Because, like, if I'm in a good enough spot that if I buy something that's like $5-10 and it ends up being a dud, I don't have to worry about not eating lunch tomorrow. Granted, I'd find a way to eat fucking lunch anyway. I'm fat as shit, let's be honest. What's up? How's it going? But like, if someone's paying me for a job, I don't want to half-ass anything. If you spend $5, I want you to get $5 worth of stuff. And so doing a paid D&D game is really not something I'm comfortable with just yet, because I'm not experienced enough. I've run like 30 sessions of D&D or something at this point for one group that's usually 2 players, maybe 3 players. So at some point this year, I'll be able to run a 4 or 5 person game, and I should be in a much better spot to tackle any sort of experience needed for D&D stuff. But I'm also very, very inexperienced with delivering products of any sort. Like, I've designed a bunch of products and things that could be produced and sold that I think are good ideas that I just haven't been able to finish prototype, because I don't know where the end of a prototype is. Like, when do you start sending things to manufacturer for samples? When do you, like, I just don't know that stuff. I'd have to talk to someone more experienced than me. I will do it at some point. Of course, I keep saying that, and then that some point never comes. So maybe I should just do it and stop being a baby. Like, I'm probably never going to be experienced enough where I'm comfortable with that stuff. So I just gotta send it and let my youth carry while I've got it. That's another thing too. I'd love to spend way more time doing YouTube and product development, but part of me is like, man, my folks are not gonna be this young forever, and I'm not gonna be in this good of. No one I know is gonna be this mentally clear enough to hold a conversation forever. I need to spend like literally as much time as possible with the people that I'm gonna lose one day, and not spend any time worrying about career stuff. Or career stuff, or like hobby stuff, and you know, people pay the guy who narrates D&D. It depends, yeah, but yes, because most people want to play. Being the DM for D&D is a massive amount of work. in all but a few cases. And if you really wanted to, you could make one D&D campaign a full-time job's worth of work. Like 40 hours every week. Just on prep time. Now, you'd have to be playing very often for that. But like there's a reason that the people who manufacture D&D supplements or any sort of tabletop board game, there's a reason that they're charging that money. Like developing any sort of game takes a lot of time and effort and a lot of people. It is fun though. It's not like it's boring work or any sort of... It's not manual labor, certainly. But it is a like creative pursuit as well. So it's more similar to like writing a novel or something, which is something people also get paid for. And it's not just narrating. There are some people who are very narrating focused, but part of it on my side is like making sure that anytime there is a question about anything, that I have an answer, which requires either writing or developing game systems like on the fly to decide how something happens, because everything is meant to be semi-random. And just influenced by the decisions the players make. And that is a lot of work. And then all the players play one character, and then the DM plays hundreds, depending on the size of the campaign. Nice. Finally, I beat this one. It only took... How many tries did this take? Oh, it doesn't tell you how many attempts it took on this screen. All right, developer, that's gotta change. There needs to be an attempts button or an attempts visual here. I needs it. This music hits. This is pretty good. How am I playing this? Hang on. Trying to decipher chat, and watching two screens at once is not working. How am I playing this? This is free on Steam. This is a game called Sensory Overload, and you just navigate with your mouse. It's all mouse based. If I were a better streamer, I would overlay the chat on the screen that I'm currently looking at, instead of keeping it on the side where I have to turn my head to be able to read stuff. Like if I could overlay it at half opacity on top of the screen. I've actually thought about buying, there are some AR glasses that you can get now that are really high quality. I could theoretically overlay the web source in those glasses, and then I could just have it attached to my face so I could look wherever I wanted and have chat up on screen. I could drive a car and have chat open, which would, I think, be illegal. Oh my gosh. How am I able to play it? It's not burning my eyes. I am... There's something about this that's really got me focused. Like, usually my head is incredibly loud. Like, there's just a lot going on in there. And now it's quiet, and I'm actually kind of enjoying myself. Like, I can talk, and I don't have to... There's not, like, 1,000 other thoughts clouding out what I'm saying. Which is pretty great. It did make me a little bit nauseous because I started this right after I ate food, but... But there's something about this that's like also kind of driving up the adrenaline just a little bit. And I am much better in a stressed state than I am when things are calm. When there's nothing bad going on, I am like, I freak out. And then whenever there's a problem to be solved, or there's something like urgent, like this is giving me a sense of urgency, I can really focus in. Which is why in school I waited till the last day to do all of my assignments. And then I just got really, really good at doing everything last minute. Like, I'm a procrastinator, but I'm also the best one on the planet. I'm the best procrastinator, because I can just do everything quickly now. And this was another thing in high school. I took a bunch of AP classes, which in the States are like your advanced placement. Which is why it's called AP. I'm just not realizing that. So much for being fucking smart, I guess. I never put that together. The AP English classes, so writing or it's AP language and writing, and then literature and reading. So it's like your writing and your reading class. Although you do writing in both. In the writing class, we had to do a lot of argumentative essays. And instead of giving you time to write your essays, the first essay, they'd give you like 3 days. And then you'd have one day, like one evening, right after school. And then you'd have the hour that you're in class. And then you'd have 15 minutes. And by the end, the essays you were writing in 15 minutes were higher quality than the essays you would write over 3 days. And that's because on the AP test, you had to write 3 essays within the time allotted. So they had to train you like that. But also that training made it really, really easy to procrastinate, because I could bang out a damn near perfect essay in 15 minutes and hand it in. And then the only other time I took more than like 15-ish minutes to write an essay in my entire academic career was in college, where I spent a month straight. I didn't do anything entertaining, so anything that was entertainment, I uninstalled YouTube and all that, and I wrote an essay, and it might be the best writing I've ever done. It was for the rough draft of my technical writing class, where I handed this rough draft in, she read it, and she emailed me and she said, you don't ever have to come back into the class again. You don't have to take the final exam. You don't have to write any more drafts of this. It's perfect. Stop writing and go take a break. But I'd like interviewed a bunch of people for that essay. I'm hoping that the book I write will be better. And it's not a technical book, it's a creative book. But whenever I get to that. Subway Surfer replacement? 100%. Yeah, this is a perfect Subway replacement. Although I didn't like Subway Surfer when I played it. There's something about the simplicity. It's like, you know, you look at those videos of people like cutting up sand, and you're like, this is messy and too much work, and it really takes me out of the satisfaction I should feel by doing something repetitive and kind of mindless. Because I'm too caught up in the logistics of like, where the fuck did you buy all this sand? And isn't this getting all over your house or apartment or whatever? Like, do you have dirt floors? Are you in your basement? Is this how you're getting away with making such a mess? Or are they like in a plastic tub or something? I don't know the logistics of making those videos, and it really frustrates me to watch them, because I'm just thinking about the logistics. And there's something about the same thing here. Like, I've solved how this game is produced. I understand how the dev has put this game together. And I don't have to think about it. I can just enjoy the artwork. I had this problem in movies too. I'm always like looking for how they do the effects, and like, was that CG or is that practical, and all that stuff. And it takes me out of the movies. But with this one, I can just enjoy it. the bottle breaking videos. Dude, where the fuck do they put all that glass when it's broken? I don't know if they're sweeping it up. I don't know I have no clue how they're... And also, glass bottles are not like super cheap. You can recycle them. Technically, you can recycle them. But no one... Where are you buying giant glass bottles? Are you buying these on Amazon? How are they shipping this stuff? I don't get it. And they're filling it with like food dye and plastic balls. And I have to wonder, are they throwing everything out when the video is done? Or are they sifting through shattered glass with like gloves to pull all the little bits of plastic out to reuse it for the next video? Because these content farms are not putting out one and done, we're breaking glass bottles. They're doing hundreds of these. And I guess a lot of this like slop stuff is all going to be AI, which reduce their costs, which I'm happy for them. Less glass waste and you know, less plastic waste getting out in the environment and everything. Net positive, well, maybe net positive, we'll see. We'll see when the nets come out. I'm hoping that it reduces the amount of waste they're creating to just do this 5-minute crafts bullshit, all AI or whatever. But yeah, where are they putting all that glass? I can't imagine they have the wherewithal to recycle. I just can't. And if they're in the US, most of the recycling doesn't get done. Like, if you recycle stuff in the US, I'm sorry to say this, if you're really keen on recycling in the US, it is more than likely that if you recycle something in the US and you did not drop it off at the recycling center yourself, it's probably not actually being recycled. It's probably going to a landfill. Or if it's an all paper, maybe it's going to like a burner or something. But like, the whole trade deal stuff with China over the last decade or two has really put a damper on the amount of recycling from us they're willing to take, which was how our stuff got recycled. We put it on a boat and we'd ship it overseas. And you know, we're not privy to what's going on in these places that are recycling, but like, we don't even know how much they were recycling, so probably just throw it. Yeah, my guess is the same. If they're making those videos, they're probably not recycling, but you never know. That's what we need. We need someone to do 100% ethical slop videos where they're cleaning up everything, they're recycling everything, they're putting like all the proper content warnings and everything, and then we're gonna market this. It's like when Hank Green did his, or is this John Green? I can't remember. It's one of the Green brothers. Did an audio thing of like, I'm gonna go around to waterfalls and record it, and I'm gonna put this up for free as like, here's something you can listen to, and the proceeds go to charity. We need that for slop videos. We need completely 100% farm grown, pasture raised slop videos. That's what we need. Yes, recycling is not, it's not very efficient. Just mechanistically, you know, entropy is a thing, and if you've processed an item, it typically does not want to be processed to a previous state. So if you utilize something, it's typically, you're utilizing some amount of energy that we have in the world. Things like glass can be very easily recycled. There's not a lot of waste on glass that you can't wash off. So whenever I've got glass, I try and find a place to recycle it if I can. But like, paper and plastic. Plastic's a big one. Plastic is incredibly difficult to recycle. Because plastic is a name that we've given to like 1,000 different chemicals, and actually figuring out what's in the plastic is a serious pain in the ass. That's why they'll have the recycling symbol with the number on it. But then there's also a ton of plastic that doesn't have a recycling symbol, so you throw it all in the same bin, and then you take this to a recycling center, and they say, we can't process like this ton of plastic that you've given us because it doesn't have a symbol, we don't know what it is, and we're not going to spend the money to test it, because the money to test it is more than just making new plastic and digging the oil out of the ground, pumping the oil out of the ground, I guess. So, I don't know. You need to drastically reduce recycling the cost of recycling to make it worth it. You're better off just reusing your stuff or not using it at all. That's my recycling rant. The number just tells you what type of plastic it is. And I think they're ordered from easy to difficult to recycle, or the other way around. It's like the lower number is easier to recycle, or something. That might not be true. The ordering might not be true, but it is the type of plastic. And this is kind of why I like 3D printing so much, is because all 3D printing plastic is thermoplastic. It can be recycled immediately. You don't have to process it at all. So if you 3D print anything, that plastic can be melted back into a spool of plastic. It is expensive. It's not free to do that. It costs money. The same amount of money you'd spend running a printer. Running a high-end printer at that, because it needs to be very dimensionally accurate. But who's texting me? Sorry, someone's texting me. Oh, it's my ISP is upset with me. They're not upset with me. Okay. New level. Oh. This game is actually pretty excellent. I'm very excited. And I've experienced no bugs. I've experienced one, like, flutter, one hiccup, where it ran a little bit slowly. But this is great. I might make this my the new game I play when I've got like 10 minutes to do nothing and I'm just waiting for something to happen. I could do this for 10 minutes. It is very likely that I will not sit down and play this for multiple hours again, because there is other stuff to do. Oh my gosh, this is a little bit tough. This level's a bit more dynamic. A lot of the previous levels I could just kind of sit in the center, because spoiler, it's a circle. The center is where it's moving less fast. So if you go to the outside, things are going to be a lot more chaotic. But if you're here on the inside, oh my gosh, this might be the one that gets me, the one that's just too much. Also, the kind of transparent ones, I don't know if that's meant to be an additional challenge or meant to look cool. If it's meant to look cool, cut it, because it's actually very difficult to see it. Like, you can only see the edges of it. It just looks like a filter over the screen. And with all the spinning stuff, it's, you know, it's tough to actually see those. And also, the second that this game becomes about memorizing patterns, I will stop playing it. I really enjoyed this game, how I don't have to memorize it all. I can just feel the game out. The second I have to memorize a pattern of like, you move here and then here and then here, I will stop playing it. I learned my lesson with games like Elden Ring that are 100, which is just memorizing the dictionary until it's done. I do not enjoy that style of game. Unlike a game like Hollow Knight, where you don't have to memorize shit, you can just feel it out. That is also part of the reason that I stopped playing trying to S-rank the Cuphead stuff, because I just couldn't deal with the memorizing all of the tells for every attack to play it perfectly. I'm sure that it really appeals to some people, like you can memorize something, and I don't have that. Unless I'm directly competing with other people, I have no sense of accomplishment with memorization tasks. Unless it's like I'm learning something and I need to memorize. When I was in high school, I was really into Western what is it called? It's like Western folk art or something that categorizes whip making, but I made bull whips in high school because I don't know, I thought it was cool. I was like, you can make sonic booms with your hands. That's pretty cool. And all of the memorization around that I found fine because it was towards an end goal. It was like, I can produce this thing and sell it, and it will be a way to make money in high school. And for things that don't generate revenue, I don't care to memorize at all. It's just extra work. Yes, memorizing bosses in 2D is more fun. Because there's also an issue in 3D of playing video games that I found, which is that you can't see behind you. So if you need to repeatedly do a task that requires you to memorize something, and something attacks you from behind, like say a boss attack is swings around and hits you in the back of the head, how are you going to possibly be able to memorize when that is or why if you can't see it? Like imagine if Elden Ring was first person and you had to memorize the game. You just couldn't see behind you. So many attacks would be impossible to memorize unless you looked up a guide. Or unless you spent a run turning around. Like if you could, I guess if you just turned around, you could memorize it, but then that's studying for the sake of studying. If I wanted to study, I'd go back to school. Do something with it. Maybe that's part of it too. Is because I spent so long studying in school and college and just absolutely despising study and all that stuff. I didn't hate learning, but the actual like rigor of school was something that I despised. If I don't want to do that for fun, I don't want to wind down doing what I thought was a very tedious job. Right? Like if I wanted to work on my day off, I would get another job. I would go work at anywhere else. But like I don't want to. So the game usually gives you a sound for each attack. Yes, I agree. I also don't have the capacity to put 2 and 2 together. That's something too. I'm really bad at linking my senses. So if I can see something and I can hear something, and they can be related, and I won't pick up on it. Like, I think the perfect example of this is something that you might not know, or something you may have never experienced, but I can't recognize people. Like, if I've heard someone's voice, and I've seen them, I can recognize their voice, but not usually their face. So, like, it's also, I guess, context aware. So if I see, or context dependent, if I see you in a specific context, and I see you outside of that context without hearing your voice, I won't recognize you, but I could recognize your voice. Like, seeing and hearing are not linked senses for me at all. And whatever the opposite of synesthesia is, the one where you link your senses, whatever the opposite of that is, I've got that. Or I don't know if it's the thing you get, it's just the way that I am, I suppose. So like for Hollow Knight, I could play that game without sound, and I have frequently when I'm doing other stuff. But like this game, you could very easily play with no sound. The sound has no impact on the game whatsoever, besides sounding good. Speaking of sound, I realized something interesting last night that I did not know. which is that I can hear bats. Bats is in the animal, the one that you know, Batman. Batman was actually named after an animal called a bat, and bats rely on echolocation to navigate and to sense their food. And they make a really, really high-pitched chirping sound. And that sound bounces off stuff and it gets back to their ears, and they can kind of sense what's in the environment based on that. And last night, I was out for a walk. I was taking garbage out to the bin. Was this last night or the night before? I think it was last night. Maybe it was just going out to my car for something. And there's a bit of woods near my house, and I could hear this really high-pitched chirping, like barely audible. I could feel it more than I could hear it. It was very interesting. First time I've ever experienced that. And I couldn't see the bats either. I was looking around like, there's bats here. And then nothing. And they kept making that sound. It was actually quite painful. Because if you want to do echolocation, you got to make a really loud sound. Okay. This is the one thing that's a little bit... that's always gotten me about music synced games like this. Which is that the music stops, and I have to listen to the first part 1,000 times, and then whatever the last few notes are, whatever the last beat is always obscured by the victory of winning. So you really never listen to the full song unless you go out on your own and do it. Or if you're like me, that one time where I fought Divine Beast Dancing Lion, and I let the summons completely do the fight because I was just listening to the music because the song is that good. Because it's the best song that From Software has ever produced. I like that the best song and the best fight that FromSoft have ever produced are in the same DLC, and I absolutely despise the DLC. It really frustrates me that my favorite pieces of media that they've ever released are in my least favorite DLC. Oh my gosh. 67 attempts. I want to know what other people are doing for attempts. I did this when I played Hollow Knight. Whenever I beat a boss, I'd note how many attempts I took, and I'd go look at forums of people talking about how difficult the game is to gauge how difficult other people thought the game was. And I kind of want to do the same thing here. Because this is like a reaction time based thing, right? I guess not even reaction time. It's just... I don't know. I don't know what you'd consider this, because it does not feel like I've spent a lot of reaction time. It's more about like going with the flow and seeing where everything's pointing you. Which boss? Mesmer? No. No. People really dislike this take that I've got. People do not like my Elden Ring takes, I found out, after talking about it online. No, the best fight that From Software has ever produced is the... if you could do all the quests in the DLC, the fight at the end before Radahn, where you fight Needle Knight Leda, or Leda, or whatever her name is pronounced as, with all of the other enemies you can get, it is an incredibly fun fight. Because you figure out how you want to stack all of your... Alright, someone just got Nightbotted, that was cool. You get to figure out how to stack up your team completely. And then, hang on, someone is now spamming chat. There's a bot. There's a bot in chat. Another, oh, Nightbot got them. Oh, good job, Nightbot. Nightbot banned the first one, and then another account showed up and was, Nightbot just did it silently that time. I think the fight where you get to do an all-out brawl with a bunch of small NPCs is my favorite fight by a lot too. all of the one-on-one fights in, well, I guess in the DLC specifically, but like a lot of the one-on-one fights aren't very good, in my opinion. Not that they're very good, I just find them a little bit samey. And that's the only fight in the whole game of Elden Ring that I was like, this is actually different than the stuff I've done before. And it gets major points for being different in a game that is largely the same for everything. No, it's the best take. I've heard worse takes than that. It might be the worst FromSoft take. But I put it up there with like Radagon as the best fights in the game. Like where so many of the FromSoft fights devolve into you're fighting a Ford F-150 with legs in an arena that's a circle with no dynamic elements, and like cool music is playing, and that's the whole fight. I don't have to tell you which boss it was, because when I said that, you thought of one, and you're correct, and it's also 30 other fights in the game, and that's fine, and you can like a game like that. I appreciate the people who do. But I fought Vort of the Boreal Valley in 2019 when I played Dark Souls 3, and I've also fought Vort of the Boreal Valley 300 other times playing the rest of FromSoft's like they're kind of all the same. That was my big comment on Gaius, was that Gaius is the same as every other boss. It's just a Ford F-150 with legs. And if I wanted to fight one of those, I could go outside right now and tussle in the street. But I mean, I'm not quite as strong as a Tarnished. I think that I would be, instead of Tarnished, I'd be red paste on the pavement, but Needle Knight Lado, actually different fight. You get to have an all-out brawl with like 30 characters. It's great. Not 30, but you know, like 7 of them. The arena's still a circle. Have I played Lies of P? I have not played it. It is in my catalog. And now I don't know how people are feeling about the AI stuff. I'm assuming people aren't going to be like upset if I play the first Lies of P. I've already bought the game. It's not like I'm giving them more money or anything. But they're like, we're doing AI at Lies of P, the studio that makes it, for concept art. Which, by the way, Baldur's Gate 3 I think did the same thing, right? Do we care about this? I don't know what people care about. I don't want to play a game that's all AI, but if you're like using it as a tool in your dev process, I don't care. It'd be hypocritical of me to say don't do that, because I've done that. Not for art stuff, but for programming, certainly. But it's also much more accepted that programmers are going to be are going to be fine with a tool that was first developed for programming stuff. So, but also we'll see. In 5 years, I'm sure everyone will have a different opinion or whatever. But yeah, I want to play Lies of P. I just don't have the time to sink into a video game at the moment. I've got a lot of stuff happening on the home front. I guess I could replace whatever we're playing right now with Lies of P. But also I knew that this would be a contained, like, set amount of time, and Lies of P could take me 100 hours to beat. And like learning a new game system of a game that is incredibly complicated is something that I'm not 100% in on. I also still want to play Silksong. I haven't gotten around to it. I still need to beat Pantheon 5. I've gotten close. I think my last... Where's the last boss I got to. I think I got to Nightmare King Grim in Pantheon 5. And I've still got to do Pure Vessel in Radiance. Yeah, I know some people who really don't use AI for anything. I use it quite a bit. I find that it's very, very useful for my day-to-day stuff. I don't trust it 100%. I always do go back and actually verify stuff if it's critical. But I do that with everything anyone tells me. Even if I get a source online that's like, this thing says this, I go and double check it. Because, frankly, I've listened to a lot of people, and oftentimes people incorrect. You learn this. So the lesson isn't don't double check AI, or the lesson isn't double check AI. It's don't trust anyone. Is the lesson that people should be learning. Even if someone you really trust tells you something, you should probably go double check. Because people you really trust, importantly, are people who are fallible by nature. That's what the word people means. Which is why... No, I don't know where that was going. I was going to say something about my cat being a people, but I don't know if that's true. My cat's certainly cool when he's not, like, screaming. But I don't know if he were in a D&D game, his type would not be humanoid, I don't think. His type would be beast, even if he's got a good personality. That's what we need. We need more fantasy where animals have a good personality. You know, going into the cavern to slay a dragon. I've never once seen a dragon be accurately portrayed in fiction. I don't think. I guess Smaug is the closest we get, but they're either like intellectual. They're either intellectual, and the only aspect about their intellectuality is that they can speak. Like Smaug can speak, and he's like a thinking sapient creature, or she. I don't know how dragons work, right? Or they're mindless beasts. Although I can't think of a dragon off the top of my head that is like a mindless beast dragon. But like, if you're a sapient creature, is Smaug capable of speaking but not capable of understanding economics? Because if they were keen on all of this wealth, why not add like musicians to your horde? Someone who could entertain you at least a little bit. Like, you could keep musicians alive for entertainment. Theoretically, if you're a dragon with this unlimited power and the capability to speak English or Common or whatever you're using, you should have untold sums of wealth and untold power. You should be running kingdoms. Like, what are the dragons doing that they're this incompetent? I find it frankly ridiculous that you'd if you're writing fiction, that you'd debase a sapient creature like that. Because it's not like they're stupid. They're intelligent. They're intelligent enough to like lay siege and do all this stuff, and you know. And you're telling me that Smaug, who has lived for hundreds of years, has not figured out compounding interest yet? He's just sitting on that horde. That horde should be growing. Okay? You got to put that horde in the S&P 500. That's not legally financial advice. Don't sue me. I need a more generic "don't sue me" title card. Because I've got a "don't sue me," but it's specifically themed for a video. It was bad. I'm gonna make them cat villains. Yeah, you could do that. That's just the plot of Mouse, I think. That's just the plot of Mouse. But yes. There's a mouse TTRPG. It's called Mouse Rita, which I've never played. But I hear it's fun. This level is a little bit difficult. This section in particular, where we start getting a lot of stuff happening. But this also doesn't feel like I'm practicing at all. I just feel like I'm hanging out. And that the mouse is moving. I almost don't feel like I'm moving the mouse at all. I feel like it's kind of moving on its own, and I'm just here. It's like a Ouija board, but for completing a video game, instead of trying to talk to ghosts. I have someone in my family who I will not name, similar to the Burger King sitter. Not the same person, but similar in the way that I don't want to name and shame people for this, who is extremely concerned about Ouija boards. He is dead set in his belief that if you use a Ouija board, you're cursed, and that you will actually speak to like demons and ghosts and stuff. And like, I know the mechanics behind how a Ouija board actually functions, where it feels like it's a magical thing, but really it's not. It's just that you're touching it. If it were ghosts, it would move without you touching it. And because you're touching it, it's not ghosts, it's you who's moving the planchette around, right? But also, if I wanted to talk to ghosts, I don't have to use a piece of I don't have to use a piece of cardboard I bought from Target. I could just talk. I could just speak with my words. My voice isn't haunted. You know? And if the Ouija board was the only way to speak to ghosts, why did ghost hunters have so many other tools? They're looking for ghosts, they got the EMF and a thermometer out. It's like, if we've solved ghost talking, just talk to the ghosts. Stop asking them questions through a dumb little electronic device. Which I did look one time about why ghost hunters think that EMF or temperature has anything to do with ghosts, and I realized that that's a dumb question. Because they just made that up. Like, no one's yet to prove ghosts exist, like scientifically. So if you wanted a scientific measure of ghost existence, you wouldn't be able to find it because we don't know that they exist. There's no method for testing whether or not EMF means ghosts. And then I felt stupid for considering for a moment that maybe ghost hunters were onto something. Now, there are actual scientific studies trying to prove ghosts exist, and they're really boring. And they've all got the same conclusion, which is probably not. Or if ghosts do exist, there's not a way to measure them. Which is chill. But it also means that those concerned about Ouija boards are, I think, unfounded. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll die and I'll become a ghost, and my only way to speak to anyone is through a fucked up radio and a piece of cardboard with a little bit of plastic on top of it. Maybe one day. But also, I feel like if you out there are watching at home and you die, and you want to let me know that ghosts are real, in fact, haunt me, please. Come find me. Now, that said, I have had a ghost experience. This is a very contradictory. I'm a hypocritical person often, but I've had a ghost experience where I've detected some stuff that could be ghosts related. When I think about aliens, we can't start on aliens just yet. I'm going to finish the ghosts, and then I will rant to you for an hour about aliens, because holy shit, do I have numbers. Not numbers. I've got ideas about aliens. With ghosts, we had an apartment for a long time. It was actually a condo, I guess, but it was apartment shaped. And we were on the second floor of this condo, and we had a balcony. It was a real shit balcony. You could barely fit one person on it. But in the winter times, we'd get a lot of snow, because the place I live gets a lot of snow, and the balcony would pile up with snow, and then you'd have to go scrape it off or whatever. Although no one went out there in the winter anyway, or at all, so it didn't matter. And I think the part of this that no one went out there at all is interesting. One day I woke up to go to school. This was back when I was in middle school, and I walked up to this window to go look outside to see how much snow we'd gotten, and outside there were 3 shoe prints in the snow, but baby shoe prints, and we don't like know baby, like there were no babies around, but there were baby-sized shoe prints in the snow, and I was like, the only explanation I got for this is ghosts, or that there was a baby on the balcony that I don't know about, which is way more likely. So that's my one ghost story. Okay, aliens. Aliens, if they exist, which they probably do exist, have never, ever been to Earth. This feels extremely obvious to me, because it is so statistically unlikely that an alien species could ever make it to Earth in the first place that there wouldn't be a way to detect for it. So obviously, biggest piece of evidence, we haven't found evidence that there being aliens. We've found some evidence that maybe there could be aliens someplace, but signs of intelligent life, incredibly low. But just think about the number of steps you have to take to get to a different planet. Okay, first, you need the conditions to support life. We found like maybe 3 or 4 planets that we think might have some form of life, like a bacteria or something on them. And some moons and things where there might be some sort of biological life in whatever capacity that it could take form under like an ocean or something. Or like under the ice in Europa or whatever. Now, you need that intelligent life to have the capacity to understand space travel at all, or engineering. So all of the tech tree to get to space travel, they need to be able to comprehend all of that. And there's shit that we can't comprehend. Like our system for math that we came up with can't prove everything. So this was, what was it? Gödel's? Theory? What is his theory? Anyway, Gödel did some math and basically said, yeah, the system that we currently have for logic and mathematics, the way it's laid out, cannot prove everything. So there's already stuff that we fundamentally misunderstand about the universe. We don't have a system to measure everything, to comprehend everything that's around us. So imagine a species developing intelligent life that is intelligent, but not as much as us, that just can't figure everything out. We haven't found even that. We haven't found anything else that we'd consider being alive outside of Earth, right? So already the odds are stacked against them. Now, the planet that they're on has to be suitable to support learning that technology, meaning they have to have all of the metals that we have. They have to have all of the biological stuff we have. So if you have a planet that is all mammals and grass, you don't have trees. How are you supposed to build anything if you don't have trees? Our whole tech tree is we even call it a tech tree because there are trees, right? If you develop on a planet where trees don't exist or don't exist yet, how are you going to do anything, right? That's the sort of thing you need to have all the components to build rockets. Rockets that we build are built out of like aluminum, like very specific grades of aluminum and titanium and gold and cobalt and all this rare stuff that we've got here, luckily. But we can imagine, and a lot of this stuff is expensive because it's so rare. Imagine a planet where it's more rare. Now imagine you've got all the stuff to make rockets and you have an intelligence capable of supporting the engineering needed to build a rocket. You need the drive to go somewhere else. You need to have a mind that is structured in a way that makes going outside of your own planet seem reasonable. And to be clear, that's only ever developed once on our planet. And it's just us. No other animal just randomly flies over the ocean or swims across the ocean. Not as much as we have. The people in Ireland, in Scandinavia, who got on a boat and went, fuck it, let's go that way, and they ended up in North America, bananas. No other species we found will do something that ridiculously stupid. Typically, animals want to stay where they are to survive. Humans don't do that. So you need an animal on another planet that's intelligent, that has the resources, that has the drive to, like, leave, and thinks that leaving might be a good niche to fit in. Then they need to actually figure all that stuff out, which is complicated, but we knew that. And they also have to have the social climate to be able to pull something like that off. The reason we haven't gone anywhere, done all this cool science stuff, is because we're too busy blowing each other up. The species that develops that can pull this off needs to stop blowing each other up enough to, one, not go extinct, because we can currently extinct ourselves very easily with our current technology. They need to not go extinct, and need to stop shooting each other long enough to leave the planet they're on. Okay? Then they need to not have anything in their solar system that's worth going to. Right? They need to not have any other resources. They're like, well, we're leaving to go do this. We're leaving to go to this moon to pick up this resource, or we're going to war with this other species on this planet. And then they need to pick a direction to go. And that direction needs to be near us, which, if you know anything about the square cube law and how cubes work, right? The further away from you something is, the less chance it is that if you pick a random direction, you're going in the direction that thing is. They need to pick the direction that we're in, and then they need to go here, and they need to look at us and say, this is sufficiently intelligent that we should go look at this. And they need to not be afraid that we'll blow them up. They need to actually visit. Given all of that, the chances of that happening are like zero. As close to zero as you can get, without being zero. And I will make a pledge. If there is legitimate proof that an alien has touched down on the soil of the Earth, an intelligent alien in a spaceship landing on the Earth, like some people think, I will eat a shoe, an actual real shoe. I will consume it physically with my mouth and my teeth. Probably, if I remember to do that, and I feel like it on the day. But I'm that confident that I will wager that I will eat a physical shoe. And now I know some people are saying, oh, but given the infinite scale of the universe, it's got to happen sometime. And that's not how infinity works. Every time with infinity, you roll the dice. You roll the dice. And the dice, the odds of something being very close to zero mean that the odds of you ever rolling it are very close to zero. That's just how it is. It's not because, like, if it's infinite, people think like, oh, well, it repeats forever. Like, that's not necessarily true. And it also might not be infinite. It's just bigger than we know about. Clip that? Oh, damn. Well, I don't want to be reminded of that ever. So I'll just claim it was AI. That's another cool thing about AI, is that we've looped back around. So for a long time, you could be on the internet and you could be completely anonymous. And you could say whatever you want on the internet. And I'm not saying you should go say whatever you want, but you could. If you wanted to, you could be as much of an asshole as you wanted. No one would ever be able to know it was you. And if they did, if they did ever figure it out, you could kind of be like, well, that could be anyone, and you'd have some amount of anonymity, anonymity. Now, or 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you started requiring your name and your email to be attached to every account you made, and you had to go through some work to get some amount of anonymity online. And like, if you said something on a platform that took your name and your email, there's a chance that like people in your real life would find out about this stuff. Now we're kind of looping. The snake is eating its own tail, and we're looping back around to technology has gotten so good that you can kind of claim anything was you got hacked, or there's an AI stealing your voice or stealing your face or whatever, that you don't. Sure, everything's public, but the concept of anything being true is dissolving, which is privacy in a roundabout way, and I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it, but it is some form of privacy, which I find very interesting. Now, that said, we've also seen, because all this stuff is getting so good, that governments and bureaucracies and things are starting to take a lot of interest in IDing everyone online. Certainly for your benefit and not anyone else's benefit. Bots, yep. A lot of bots. I've been looking through YouTube comments and things, and I can't tell, this is a chicken and the egg scenario for me. Whether or not there are more bots now, and I'm sure there are more now, but whether a lot of things are bots, because I'd say like 70% of comments on YouTube I look at, I'm like, is that a bot or is that like a legitimate person? And I can't tell if it's because they're actually bots or if it's because the amount of LLMs that are influencing speech patterns for people is like physically changing the way that we speak culturally. Or I guess it could be that people are like typing what they want to say into ChatGPT and then copying that and pasting it in the comment sections. I feel like you'd have to be kind of delusioned to get to that point in your life, but who knows? Hating the internet more and more? Me too. I know you could be a bot. I could be talking to no one right now. That'd be great. Well, it wouldn't be great. It would be very funny in a sort of Orwellian sense. It'd be a bit like, what's that movie with Jim Carrey? I'm sure it was a book or something before. The one where he's on a TV show and he doesn't know it and his whole life is made up. I thought about that a lot. Now that like everything you do online could be that. It's not Groundhog's Day. What is that movie called? Yeah, I feel like if you were an AI, that would be, I think, a big blow to me personally. But also, I wouldn't put it past anyone to do something like that, because I think it'd be very funny to fund an LLM that is just meant to convince very specific people that it's real. Like the most personal form of gaslighting is just convincing writing a bot that will use an LLM and like AI image gen to completely gaslight someone online entirely and like absorb their entire feed of what they're watching and drive them insane. Did I say that was funny? I don't know if that's funny. I think there's funny aspects to that. But it would be like, there's something to that. Not that I want to do it, but that if I wanted to do it, I think you could. I think you could completely ruin someone's life using AI and the internet. To the point where, like, if they don't go out and touch grass, like, bad things are going to happen. Play Pragmata? I can. Well, actually, no. Is that one only on PlayStation or is that PS? Or PC? Said PlayStation again. Pragmata looks cool. I don't know what the actual gameplay is like, though. I've just seen people play, like, the funny moments with the little robot. But like there's a whole platforming and combat aspect that I've not seen. Which is usually the opposite. Usually you get the funny little gimmicks when you play and not in the marketing. But it's weird to see a game that was entirely marketed with like, look at this dad sim, but like there's an actual game in there that's combat. I guess it's a big thing now. Every game's got to have some sort of story, and I don't know that I subscribe to that. I was that way when I was younger, and I was like, everything's got to have this cool story. And the more and more I play video games, I'm like, I don't know if this needs a great story as much as it needs good gameplay. Because it's a game. If I wanted a story, I could like read a book, or I could play a TTRPG or something, and we could get a good story, and like I could watch a movie, or listen to like a player or something. And not every game needs to have a good story. I appreciate the games that do have a great story. And I appreciate the games that have like cool in-depth lore like Elden Ring and that. But if the game doesn't have solid gameplay, what are we doing? Which, by the way, I point out, the only reason that Souls games are tolerated for having as awful of story mechanics as they do is because the gameplay is good. Like, imagine if the combat in Dark Souls and Elden Ring was total dog shit. There wouldn't be a Vati writing all of these books about Elden Ring. Like, look at Dark Souls. Look at Dark Souls 2. The gameplay is not the greatest. No one talks about the story because it's sort of irrelevant, and no one cares to look any closer because no one wants to play that game because the gameplay isn't the same as Dark Souls 1 or 3. They messed up on the gameplay. The story doesn't mean anything. If the game has mid or no story, it's a bad game. This game doesn't have story. I think this is fine. I'm enjoying myself. And then there's games like, I mean, there's some games that have story but don't really have story. Like if you look at any of the old World War II games, like I think the first Call of Duty was a World War II game, or like an actual war game where you're playing through the story of a real war that happened. I mean, they don't have a story besides historical stories. It's not like they've come up with anything new. And they're iconic for gameplay. I think that Hitman is incredibly fun to play, and its story is pretty mid. Its story is not like an integral part of the gameplay. And I hate to say this, but I think that Dark Souls and Elden Ring's lore and their story is pretty mid as well. And the method by which you're meant to learn what's going on in the story is obtuse. I'm trying to evaluate all games as a block, as one art. But yeah, if you're playing a narrative game and it's got no story, then it's not really narrative. If you're playing a narrative game, like if you're playing a Plague Tale, which is a game I played on stream, is very good, incredible game. One of my favorite games of all time is Plague Tale and Plague Tale 2. And there's a new one coming out soon, which I'm very excited because it focuses on the pirate lady from the second game. If you're playing a narrative game like that, that's more or less a walking sim with some stealth aspects, if the story's not there, there's nothing else there. So I agree in that sense. But I think that you can take a game that is gameplay focused and you can amp it up with a story, or you can just not have a story because it's not needed. But yeah, playing a narrative game with no story is like reading a book with no words. Like at that point, the medium breaks down. There's no reason to have it. But like sometimes when you're playing a game too is the story that the gameplay creates. Games like Peak and what was the other one? Repo, that the people play a lot. The story there isn't the actual lore of the game at all. It's the story that you're making, like, with the people you're playing with. Oh, I'd really like to beat this level before I call it a day. Is the second Plague Tale better or worse? The second Plague Tale game is far, far, far better than the first one. The second Plague Tale might be one of the best video games I've ever played. In terms of gameplay, it does not beat out like Hollow Knight, right? As one of the best, or Control in terms of gameplay. But in story and it's in cinema, it's incredible. And the place it takes the story the first game was trying to tell is incredibly interesting. It takes it to a place. It's a very emotional game. It's incredible. I think it's really, really, really good. And if you want to play a movie for 12 hours, it's a great way to spend that time. And the gameplay's improved. And the music's improved. The music in the second game is way better than the first game. Oh, I keep dying on this level. I don't want to spoil it if you're actually to play it, but like, you get more of a choice in the second game, and there's more significance to whether or not you're playing peaceful or stealth, or whether or not you're playing a more aggressive style or a more stealth-based style. You have that choice. And while it doesn't make a very meaningful impact story-wise, whether or not you're playing like a no-kill run or anything, I think you might get an achievement for it. But like, giving you the option, instead of the first game where really only one attack could actually take someone out, the second one you've got a lot of options for how you handle all the scenarios. There's actual like puzzles and things in the second game that are fun to solve. I think it's really good. I don't know how I dodged any of that. That was incredible. I'm getting really good at moving this dot across the screen, but not necessarily finishing this level. Yeah, the second game will make you care a lot more than the first game. And then I don't know what the new one's going to be about. They do a tease at the end of the second game that builds a lot more story stuff that I'm incredibly... Why am I dying here? I feel like this is a hitbox that's strange. The end of the second game gives you a little teaser stuff that it implicates a much wider story than they're telling in this one game, or these two games. And then the next game they're making isn't related to that at all, which I thought was kind of disappointing, but we'll see what they do. I'm sure producing this game takes incredible amounts of money, because a lot of what they're doing is not programming, which is relatively cheap on the production side. But if they're doing all of the mocap and the voice acting and the music writing, which is all orchestral music, right? It's all the like hurdy-gurdy and stuff, and that's got to be really expensive. That's got to be so expensive. Why did I die there? That feels like a bug. Was that a bug? Did I just get a bug? Gosh, that game is so good. And then I think Control is an example of what I mean about not really having a story. Like, the story in Control is fine, but I don't think the gameplay and the story are all that related. And the story is like a if I were to give it a rank out of S, or like a tier list ranking, which I think I already have. Control, the gameplay is so good that it bumped me up from like a B tier story to S, because the gameplay is incredible. It's up there with Starfield in term, I think. Although Starfield's, I think, just a bad story where Control is kind of not giving you a whole lot of runway to work with. The gameplay in Starfield I thought was so fun that I kind of overlooked all of the fact that everything was like empty, which how space is, right? But if you're doing a sort of more fantasy space like they were trying to go for, you need more stuff. But the gameplay and like shooting the guns and stuff in Starfield was so fun. It had really cool space combat. It sucks that all of the RPG elements were bad, but it's still high up there for me. Just because I like running around to different fortifications and taking names and stealing shit. Wait, what hit me? There's a Control game? Yes, there is. They're making another one. I still have to play Alan Wake. I have Alan Wake downloaded. I think I have Alan Wake 2 on Game Pass or something. I still have to play those games because they're in the same universe. I think Max Payne might be as well. And unfortunately, I don't think Alan Wake has the same gameplay that Control does, so I might not like it nearly as much. But damn, was Control's gameplay good. Oh my gosh. I should go and finish those challenge runs, just as an excuse to play it again. One of these days I have to go back and do all of the challenge run streams that I said I was going to do, or that I thought I might do, and then didn't complete. Like, I still need to beat Prime Concert Radon on stream, and I still need to beat Margit with just my fists and stuff like that. All of the Cuphead S-rank stuff that I abandoned because I was frustrated at that game. And then all of the advanced bosses, or all of the advanced stages for Control, and their like level system that you get at the end. Maybe I should do that as like a subathon one day. If people are ever able to subscribe on Twitch, I will do that. But I need to make more stuff, because currently I'm not focused on making or streaming anything. Pantheon 5? Oh, I will finish Pantheon 5. Before I play Silksong, Pantheon 5 is involved. And I need to finish... Wait, okay, that was bizarre. I need to finish Pantheon 5, and I need to beat Silksong, because I need to make the second season of Down the Well. Because I got all these ideas on paper, and I need to double check. But I need things to go in order, or else my whole life falls apart. You know, if I don't do things in order, what am I doing? I will do this, but also I'm sort of waiting on playing Silksong until people solve the puzzles from the first set of videos. I don't know. I kind of like people to have some sort of idea of what they're getting into with the second season before they watch it. Now, granted, some of those puzzles are pretty hard, but like I think they're solvable. If someone can solve the B puzzle, I think you can do the other ones. And then someone solved one of the, or half of some of the other puzzles. But like the runic language that I wrote for the, what did I title that video? The one in Green Path, the one I did about Green Path. No one figured that one out. No one figured out the puzzle that's in the No Eyes video. Or the puzzle that's in the last video of the first season. Because there's actually a lot more happening in that video than it seems like on the surface. There's other stuff that you can see in here that no one has noticed yet. But that sort of thing's fun. I like hiding little Easter eggs in videos or little puzzles. I try when I make long form videos to do it as well, to add like weird stuff in. Not necessarily like a plot line or anything between them, but something to speculate on, to look at. Oh, oh. Oh my gosh, the whole world is spinning now. Damn, that one wasn't even moving. Oh shit, I ran into the glass again. The glass is really hard to see. I wish that the glass was not here. I don't know if that's the point of it, if it's meant to be like an extra difficult obstacle. But if it's not meant to be extra difficult, I find it very in the way when I can't see it. You can't even watch them? Why not? They're on YouTube. I think there's a playlist of them. They're also on my Instagram. They're on my Instagram and TikTok, I believe. But yeah, those are my Hollow Knight lore videos. Which I don't think I've ever publicly announced that that's like... I'm doing videos in the lore and that's how I'm doing it. And I refuse to be any more explicit with what I think about the game than those videos. And I think I have a pretty good grasp on the lore, because there was some stuff that I was theorizing about in my notes related to the Down the Well stuff. And I saw some screenshots from Silksong that very much confirm what I thought about the lore. Nice. Finally, dude. Is that like 500 attempts or something stupid? Here, I'll post a link to that playlist in chat. Where's my mouse? Playlists. Down the Well. 13 Down the Well videos. Does this include the alternate one? Let me look. No, I took the original version of Eska down because it was a little bit too simple. Oh, that's interesting. There were one or two of these videos that did really, really poorly that have since gotten like a few more views, which is great. Here, how do I share a playlist in YouTube? There we go. Oh, you just don't feel comfortable watching them? Oh. I can't help you with that. I mean, if it makes you feel better, I've watched them hundreds of times editing. But like, oh my gosh, some of that stuff took so long. The cipher that is on the Green Path video took 40 hours for me to complete. because I knew what the cipher was going to be already. I kind of knew that. I figured that one out in my head. And then I had to write down what the cipher actually was going to be and how to construct it. And then I spent probably 35 hours on writing all of the code to translate the cipher into glyphs, and then writing a font based on those glyphs that all connected properly and all the permutations were available, so that I could just go into Illustrator and type this stuff up so I could do editing on it in the way that I wanted. And then because it's a font, everything had to convert to ASCII. And so I had to translate all of the work I had done writing the cipher into ASCII, which required another Python program to do. And like, that was a ton of fun. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work for no reward, for absolutely no reward, but it was a lot of fun. Anything else take a while? Oh, the No Eyes video took forever. All of the keyframing for that. So Premiere has this weird thing. Adobe Premiere is the piece of software that everyone uses for video, or not everyone. A lot of people use it for video editing, and it is awful. It is just simply the worst. It is just simply the worst piece of software I've ever had to touch. And I have... What am I allowed to say about this? I'm just not going to say that, because I don't know what's behind an NDA or what. But I've worked on some pretty awful software, and Premiere is by far the most useful, most headache-inducing thing I've ever had to use. I've since switched to DaVinci Resolve. But I tried. They used to have a scripting API for Premiere, and then they fucking removed it, and they took it out. So all the stuff I want to do with plugins and stuff, where I can just write plugins, and I can programmatically do all this stuff, and it would save me hundreds of hours writing all this stuff, all the keyframes by hand, all that I could do, and they took it out, and they're building it really slowly, and it's not up to date, and I just want an API, a scripting API for a video editing software that I can write code in to make my life easier. I could produce hundreds of hours of video so quickly if I could just script everything. Oh, man. You have no problem putting that much effort into something that could easily flop and no one know about it? Yeah, I don't care. I mean, for as much as I want people to watch stuff, and as much as I care about, you know, like when people see a video, I want them to think it's good. I also, at the same time, I'm not doing this for anyone but me. I don't make money doing this. Okay, technically, on paper, I've made $2. Because someone came into Twitch one day and donated money, but I don't see any of that because I don't meet their partner threshold at all. So, like, I don't care about putting effort into things that are gonna fail. I put so much effort. I put probably 7-8 hours into the program I wrote to review that video the other day, and I was like, this will be funny. What if I review a video frame by frame, but all the frames are random? And I wrote that code, and it was really good. Like I think the code is solid enough. Like I was doing everything based on documentation, and I was relying less on AI just to make sure that I still had it, and it was all great. But then I got there on the day, and I was like, it's been an hour, and this is incredibly boring, and I don't care about reviewing this at all. Like, the tool is funny, and the idea is funny, and then the implementation was just so brutally boring that I couldn't do it, and I had to bail out after like 2 hours. I don't mind losing time to stuff like that. Because everything I do that, like, flops or whatever, I guess, is just time I'm practicing, right? So like all of that stuff with the cipher, one, I'm much better at writing ciphers now because I've actually had to sit down and instead of just thinking about it, I've had to write down my thoughts and mathematically test everything and make sure that you can actually reverse engineer this this stuff, because if you're going to make a puzzle, people have to be able to solve it. Otherwise, you just hash everything and go like, this is a puzzle, but really hashing is not a puzzle. It's a mathematical impossibility you could ever reverse a hash, you know, with the technology we currently have. And so now I've got those reps under my belt. All of the stuff I've written for, like, I know how to write fonts now, which is a skill I'm never going to use again, but I know it. I've spent so much time on art and all this stuff. I just have so many skills that my cohort doesn't have, because, like, you got to do stuff that's not gonna benefit you now to be able to benefit you later. That was weird. I don't know why that hit me. But, like, as a whole, video editing has been thousands of hours of dedication for something that has not paid off in the slightest. I mean, I've seen no monetary gain. If anything, I've got more stress doing this stuff than I have just, you know, playing video games my own or making nothing, right? But those video editing skills have bought me a lot. The amount of presentations and things I've been able to cook up for work that are, like, very visually showing people who don't know anything about code or programming about, like, this new software is way faster than this software, and look, if we have to speed, you know, this stuff up by like 700 times to even, like, get close to the same speed. Like, all that stuff's been incredibly useful. Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for hanging out. All of the work I put into, none of it has gone to waste. Have a good night. Even the shitty review program that I wrote made me a little bit better at Python. I learned the native tool that Python uses to build out graphical interfaces, right? I learned some of that, and that was good. And now I know that for when I have to do it the next time. At some point, I will put into use all of my skills for one project, and then the world will fucking explode, and I will be God King of the Universe or whatever. Like, nothing's a waste. And I've wasted a lot of time. A lot of time. One time, I was at my grandpa's house, and he's got a forklift. I don't know if you know what a forklift is, if you're not, like, around. So, oh, yes, forklift certified is a meme. I'm not forklift certified, and when this happened, I was in middle school and incredibly impulsive and stupid. I still am impulsive. I'm a little bit less stupid now than I was then. But it had been raining, and if you've ever driven a forklift outside, you know where this is going. I drove the forklift a half a foot too far off the pavement, and I got one of the wheels stuck in the mud. And forklifts are heavy, and pulling heavy things out of the mud is not easy or simple. And we spent probably 6 hours trying to get this forklift out of the mud. First we tried pulling it out with a pickup truck, and the chain snapped. The pickup truck didn't give up, and the forklift didn't move. And I'm covered in mud. And then we tried sliding metal plates under this thing. We tried digging it out carefully, putting metal plates under it so it could get some traction. That didn't work. I'm covered in rust. We spent 6 hours doing nothing all day because I was stupid and drove a forklift off a path on accident. And we wasted that whole day. We wasted all that 6 hours. And even then, I think that I still got something out of it that's useful, which is that now when shit goes wrong and it's a little bit inconvenient for me to figure something out, I don't have to stop. You can just keep going. At some point, either whatever you're doing, whatever task you've got is so great that it will kill you, or dinner time comes around, we're going to Red Robin, which is real and true. I went to Red Robin once. Red Robin's? Anyway, it's It has nothing to do with Robin. I don't know why they call it that. The store, the restaurant has nothing to do with Robin's. They've got good French fries though. I went to a Red Robin's covered head to toe in mud and orange rust. The filthiest I've ever been. The cleanest part of me was my hands because that's what I could wash in the sink, but up to my eyes was covered in mud. My clothes, I had to throw those clothes away. The mud was so caked into them. Like I mean, maybe if I don't know what I could have done. It was bad. It was bad, but it was good. And eventually that forklift got out of the mud. It's not still there. And there's sometimes you work all day and you see no results. And it's fine. And I can now live with that reality because I put in that work and I had people there to teach me and help me out of a bad situation. So not wasted. I contend, maybe I'll do this. This is my hot take. I contend that there is no wasted time, except if you're the person who wrote and directed the final Skywalker Saga movie. What is that movie called? It's not even a movie. It's just a collection of random shit going on. If you wrote that, you wasted your time, unfortunately. But no, I really don't think that there's any wasted time. Everything you do is some sort of teachable moment, something you're learning, something in some way you're growing. It's very rare that you find something that's just completely regressive, that you're not learning anything, not even about yourself, that you're not making some sort of progress. It's always, you're always marching towards an end, towards a maybe not a satisfying one. Maybe you find out that you put in all that hard work for nothing, but you're always marching somewhere. And if you spend your whole life worrying that you're going to waste time and that you're going to be doing this for no reason, you're never going to march anywhere, so you might as well make the mistake. It's better to cut it all than to be too afraid to measure twice, you know? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Sometimes you just gotta fucking send it. Oh, I messed that one up. This is by far the longest I've been able to like look at a screen and focus. I'm not really doing anything. I'm entranced. And I'm wondering now if I can beat the demo, because the demo's got like 7 levels, right? There's not a lot of level. Or I mean a lot. I guess it depends on how you define it. Oh. This is a little bit disappointing. The build-up of the music and the immediate death is really driving me to a place, you know? It's carrying me out to a place where I have to confront who I am as a human. Oh, I thought that there would be more spinning. What else is there? I don't know. At some point, I'm thinking I want to release the D&D stuff I've been making in some form or another. Even if it's just free stuff. I know that DM's Guild is the place to do that, so I might do that there. But like, I don't know, it feels like it'd be pretty easy for stuff to get buried on that site. There's so many people making content. And the discoverability is pretty low unless you've got like an iconic class or module or whatever you've written. Oh. I'm also a little bit worried that, like, I don't know if the stuff I've created is derivative enough to call my own. You know, a lot of the stuff I do is taking existing stat blocks and reworking them to fit my needs. And there's some stuff that's fully from scratch, but a lot of it is pretty reskinned. So I don't want to just release that stuff. And another problem of playtesting. I don't have a wide base for playtesting. It'd be great if I had, you know, if the audience was much bigger, I'd love to just release stuff into the wild for D&D or TTRPG content and let people playtest it before I put it up on DM's Guild for like 50 cents or whatever. But like, oh damn, I should have moved. There's something about the transparency of these objects that's throwing me for a loop, because it feels like you can go through there and it'll just be purple on the other side, but really there's an object that if you hit it, you're gonna die. And I don't want to die, but I also do want to go to the purple land where it's purple. I feel a bit like I'm being teased by the glass panes. I feel the same way whenever I look out a window, that maybe what's out there might be better than what's in here. And I feel a strong desire to move through that pane of glass and out into the wider world. I'm assuming that other people feel the same. That maybe that's the purpose of the window. You know, we think about windows as letting light in, but really it's tempting you to leave. If you live in a place with the blinds closed, you'll never leave your house. Okay, I don't need to focus, but I do need to beat this. Oh. Whoops. I tried. It's becoming a little bit strange, because at first I was like, I can really focus playing this game, and now it feels like I'm not even looking at the screen. It feels like I'm watching someone else play, which is a very bizarre feeling. This game has perfectly captured derealization. Like, it feels like I have no responsibility for what's going on in stream, and I think that's a dangerous thing. Or maybe it's good, because I won't be frustrated, because it's not me. It's whoever's playing this game. But really, it is me. So I also get the sense of accomplishment, because I can convince myself that I have done something good, when in reality I've done nothing. But I have done something. But I don't need to take accountability until it matters, when you win. And then I get to live the life of someone who's utterly delusional, which is what I'm describing, by the way. Which is that nothing bad is my fault, but everything good is my fault. The most extreme depths of narcissism that could possibly exist is what I'm experiencing right now. So I think that's good or bad. Is this what the developer intentioned? Is that I would feel this profound revelation about what it feels like to be extremely narcissistic through the lens of derealization? It could also be that I'm losing my marbles, that my marbles have spilled on the floor, and that none of this matters or makes sense. I think about that a lot. You know, all of this stuff that you think is concrete and sound, that you're correct and logical and rational. I think about the fact that if you just gum up someone's brain real good with an ice pick, the whole reality, their experience of reality changes extremely. Your sense of personality and who you are and what the outside world means to you, like, drastically shifts with one action. And the idea that the normal steady state of a human mind accurately reflects anything, given that a slight disruption could completely alter your perception of reality, is ridiculous. The idea that you have this sort of complete understanding that I think that people I think people really internalize a sense of normalcy and a steady state of the things around them that aren't necessarily true in the slightest. And it's bizarre. Because I feel like not many people come to grips with it. That your mind is so fallible. That it is so easy to disrupt. Like, even a lot of substances will do the same thing. The food that you eat will do the same thing. If you eat a lot of one type of food, you can disrupt severely your brain function. And you can experience different states of reality almost. Your perception changes to the degree that what you thought was true is no longer the case. Oh my gosh. You just need to not move there. What the fuck? Maybe that's part of it. You just gotta go with the flow of life. Because if you accept that you probably don't know what's going on and nothing necessarily has to be the way that you think it is, it's a lot easier just to take things as they come, and when things happen, you just kind of handle it. You know, if you've got high expectations, or if you have expectations of the world around you, what do you get? You get nothing. You get something different than what you expected every time. Every time you expect something. You expect, oh, I'm gonna go to the store today, and I'm gonna get this thing. Well, okay, that's fine. You can try to go to the store, but like if it's closed, you ain't getting shit. If I have expectations that the food I've been to 100 times is going to be the same the 101st time, I'd have to be a little bit silly. I'd have to be a little bit out of my wits, beyond my capabilities of thinking to believe that, because the idea that anything going forward is predicated on anything behind you is something that your mind has created for you. Not necessarily that cause and effect don't exist, but the idea that other causes don't make other effects because something has happened before. I think about this like, if you're certain that the sun's going to come up tomorrow, you're wrong, because certainty about something like that is you're probably right, but it's also entirely unfounded, your certainty, because the sun could go away. You could get blown up by, I don't know, anything. Galactus could show up and destroy the planet. Anything like that. Galactus is probably not real, but there are things that are not, nothing is set in stone, and the belief that it is a little bit goofy, I think. Interesting, also, my arm is starting to cramp up. I don't know what that's about. I feel like my right arm is starting to cramp up. Shit. I was getting kind of hyped up for that. I keep looking away from my screen. It's a bad habit I have. I probably need to re-up on some tea. Maybe the lack of caffeine is not helping me. Although I'm not really invested in completing this. I'm kind of just enjoying playing the game, and not really, the success isn't what does it for me. Like, honestly, I'm kind of dreading, there's a part of me that's like a little bit upset that the level's gonna be over and I have to press a button with my other hand. Because I'm so zoned out on what I'm doing. I wish that a Souls-like made me feel like this, where I was just going through the motions trying to get it right. Those games are so stressful. There's so much ego involved in a game like that, where it's like there's some part of you that's like, I want to be good at this, and so you have to try really hard, and I don't care about being good at this. There's no ego involved in this. I don't have to make Morgott proud of me. I don't have to make him believe that I'm a good Tarnished in this game. Sure, there's a scoreboard and a leaderboard, but who I am as a human being is not tied up in that at all. Now, maybe if I was a certain someone who was very keen on their Arcadian records being upheld, maybe I would think something different. But I don't have that predisposition, I suppose. Just anything that's tied to my honor system, which is that I'm a good Tarnished, and I think that Morgott is probably fundamentally correct about his worldview. And so I believe that if he believes that I'm a good Tarnished and I can kill him really good, that I'll be a fundamentally better human being. I'll have that. I'll have that here. So I think part of it is you have to stay the outside on that one. Even though technically they move faster on the outside, you got more space. My calorie tracking app is telling me, you have to count the calories, please, please. And I'm doing something else. I don't know if I talked about it, but I got my blood drawn the other day. And the lady was real rough with the needle. She was very aggressive with this needle. I'm still bruised, and the bruise is spreading, and I don't know if that's a bad thing. Like, is that like a medically significant thing that I have to go handle now? Is that I'm still bruised a week after getting a blood drawn? Because this lady was a Viking with a needle? I mean, it really was like a fuck you, I don't care if there's a vein here or not, I'm getting blood. And she did. She got the blood real good, but also my arm is sore. I think she really fucked up the angle on this needle too. Like, it was very perpendicular to my skin, and I've always seen it heavily biased. You know, we're talking like 15, 20 degrees on a needle. But she was a solid 90 on this needle, and I'm wondering if that maybe is where the bruising's coming from. And I'm sorry if you're not comfortable with this, but there was a significant like pop. Like, normally when you get a needle in your skin, it's sharp and it just kind of glides in, and this time it was like a thunk, like that sound. It was like I got like a hit marker on my arm. There's something that little noise it makes whenever you get real close to stuff makes me real happy. I like that sound. I wish that sound was much louder. Like 40 decibels higher. I want that sound to fucking destroy my headphones. I want it to blow the shit out of my speakers. The music's good, but if I don't hear the subtle patunk of an icon telling me that I've done a good job, I really need to be praised with these video games. I wish there was, I mean, I guess there is some success music to Souls-like games where there's like, yeah, you killed the demigod, good job. I need there to be more. I need there to be much more fanfare. I need like loud music, like the Cuphead. Whenever you won a boss in Cuphead, it was awesome because suddenly it was a freaking party in the 40s, and we were having a 40s party, and not even one of the problematic ones, like a good one. The music was swinging, we were all dancing. I want that. I want that in Souls games. I want there to be fanfare. I want there to be loud music. I want a little man to dance on screen and tell me I did a good job and rate my performance. Damn, I was doing pretty good there. I don't want a somber, like, dusting of oh, the boss died and he's XP now, and oh, you killed him, good job. Do you want an item or maybe like a cutscene sometimes? No, I want there to be music. I want there to be celebration. I want the developer to come on. I want the developer to email me and tell me, you did a really good job killing Margit. That boss is hard. A lot of people haven't done that. But you did that. You accomplished that. That's what I want. Oh my gosh. Who emailed me? LinkedIn. I don't care about that at all. LinkedIn will send you a notification for a person you've never seen, and it's like, look at what this person posted on LinkedIn. Fucking, I don't care. This person does not mean anything. They're no one in my life. I've never seen this person nor spoken to them. Not once. Not once. And maybe they're famous in career land where people care about LinkedIn, but I can't be fucked. I can't be bothered in the slightest to care about LinkedIn. I frankly find it very annoying that a career platform is trying to be social media. Like, good on you if you're making it big on LinkedIn, but who is that for? What is that for? I think people, and maybe this is just different strokes for different folks, but people really get in their head that their job is their life, and that like the thing that matters about life is succeeding career-wise. And as someone who has done fine career-wise, you don't have to care that much. You don't have to. You could care less. You could care a lot less and still be fine. You could care like however much you care right now. You could care 70% less and you'd be okay. Like at the end of the day, we're all gonna die. You're dead anyway. There's nothing you can do. You can try. You can really try to live for longer. And you probably will succeed to some extent to live for longer. You might. But you're gonna die. The world's gonna end. The entropy always drives everything to zero. At some point there's not gonna be enough stuff left for any stuff to be you. And then you're gonna die. And what will you have? Will you have memories of doing all the cool shit that no one else did or that you wanted to do, or working as hard as you possibly could to for no avail, for nothing? Or are you going to be the guy who's on LinkedIn, famous on LinkedIn for posting something absolutely nonsensical about what you believe about humanity and how other people work? I guess I just can't see wanting to do that. Maybe everything's a status game, and everyone wants to be, valued as a person. And if you get that from LinkedIn, I'm happy for you. But I'm just trying to keep in touch with some old coworkers, and I really don't need any of the other stuff. And I wish I could select notifications for people that I know and no one else. Maybe I can. Maybe I should go look for that. And it's also part of like that's a lot of bringing work home. Phone is an extension of where I live. And if phone is inundated with notification from work, no, don't like. Not good. Well, I don't want to say not good. I don't think good and bad are useful words, but I'm sure you got out the tone of my voice. I don't think that I don't think it benefits you in any way to bring that much work home. To bring non-money work that's not going to bring you money. And now this is contradictory to time wasted. That I just talked about this. Time wasted. I don't think you waste time. I view work as something fundamentally different than just putting in effort. Effort is one thing. But work is the thing you do to fundamentally sustain your way of life. And you don't necessarily have to put in a lot of effort to fundamentally sustain yourself. In fact, the barrier for just being alive is actually quite small. It's you know, it's fairly simple. You can get a sufficient amount of calories for extremely cheap. Shelter is less cheap, but there are places that don't require more shelter that you can go and you can be less sheltered or cheaply sheltered. But building a lifestyle is where you start having work. If you're committed to, I want to have a phone and Netflix and these friends who do these things, and I want to go to a bar and things, you have to do work. And it's not fun. Because ultimately you're doing something that's not just sustaining you. You're trying to build a life outside of just biological need. And your body doesn't want to put effort into that. Your body wants to be as lazy as possible to still be alive, and that's it. And your ego tells you something else about the way the world is. That you should live like this, and that you should know these people. And you have to work to get that. That's what I mean by work. Not just effort. Because I can guarantee you, if I could live the life, or if I could live the lifestyle that my ego demands, without having to put all the work in, I would work less. I would work way less, and I'd put more effort into other things. And it wouldn't be work. It would just be effort. And that would be good. I think that would be good. I'm going to go on another rant about things I don't like. I think the word good and bad, though I do use them, are fundamentally flawed. In that they demand a subject. Good or bad what? If you say, I don't like this, it's bad, what's bad about it? The whole thing of it can't just be bad. That's not how things work. We figured this one out pretty early. Yin and yang. There's dark and light and dark, and we solved this one. We got this one. It's in the books. What's good and bad? I think that Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, the DLC for Elden Ring, the famous, critically acclaimed, excellent video game, apart from like one or two parts of it that I don't like, I think that has very good music. The music is good. And the lore is kind of good. And the gameplay is bad. I wouldn't say the whole thing is bad. I might have said that, actually. I probably have said that. I don't mean that. Because I think that they require subject. They're also relation. It's also relationary. Good or bad compared to what? I think that the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC is way better than the Horse Armor DLC we got in fucking Oblivion. Do you remember that? I paid $5 for that. I was dumb. Mom, can I have $5 worth of nothing? Okay. Well, if you do the chores, sure. What the fuck? Why did I could have spent money on Hot Wheels or something else. Something cooler. I paid $5 for Horse Armor, guys. Whatever it was. It was like $1 or $5 or something. $5 early 2000s money, by the way, which is like $10 now. $7 now or something like that. It's more. That money would have been worth more. I just, it's better. It's better than that. It's better than that. It's worse than other things. I've paid money on stuff that's way better than the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC. For example, the best meal I've ever had was less money than that. I feel pretty confident in saying that the best meal I've ever eaten was way cheaper than Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, and I enjoy it way more. I think about that meal still. It was a while ago. It was a fairly insignificant day. The day was a travel day. We got back. This was hotel food. The best hotel food, the best meal I've ever eaten was in a hotel. Not even a critically acclaimed hotel. This was, not to shit on a country. This was in Northern Ireland. It was incredible. It was fun. Also the best meal I've ever eaten. you know? And that was what, $20, $25? Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree was $40. I think compared to that meal, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree was bad. I think it was bad compared to that meal. But I'm comparing it to that meal. I think on its own, good or bad doesn't really make sense. It's a game with qualities. I don't think good or bad can be one of them unless you compare them to something. I get this all the time. You see people comment like, oh, this was bad, or this was good. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Good or bad what compared to what? You're not making sense. You're not using the word correctly. You're trying to drive your car with a motorcycle. You don't drive cars with a motorcycle. It doesn't make sense. You've just misunderstood the language. God, the implication in descriptive and normative around English, I understand. It's got to be incredibly difficult. I'd hate myself if I were trying to learn it too, but oh, I finished it. Nice. But like, it's got to be impossible to learn English. The amount of bullshit that we've stacked on top of a language is incredible. The fact that I can say something completely contradictory at the words, if you directly translate a sentence, it can be the exact opposite of what the meaning of the sentence is. Like, in the right context, you can tell someone to go fuck themselves, and that means that you like them a lot. Oh, that was ranked? Oh. Okay, this is cool. Wait, so what is... Oh, I can control with the mouse? Oh, I hate that. I don't want to do that. What is song... Okay, the song 5? Was this the last one I did? Alright, I'm a little bit confused. How do I get back to... Okay, so these are the stages, and I jumped into ranked, so I think I beat the last one. Tutorial, Tornado, Inception. Goal is endless. Inception, what does this mean? Drifting off. Wait, so what does this mean? It says drifting off, but I don't know what that means. So I was just doing levels and then popped me into endless mode. I don't know if that's because I ran out of content there, but maybe there's more content in here. Or pop me into ranked, which was like an endless runner, I think. But there's new levels and new music in this section. It's a little bit confusing. Developer, I need assistance. I need you to tell me what's happening, because I don't know. Okay, I was really doing good. The one with the X is very easy to get a near miss in as well. You just go through the eye. This is a level that baits you into a false sense of security. Where you think, oh, I can get so close to this stuff, and then you get too close, and then you Icarus yourself into a building. Also, the screen is not twisting as much, so this must be like the easy level for this one. The screen twisting stuff is where you really get mixed up. Sorry, I was focused. There we go. Hey, got over 100,000. It's probably good. Oh my gosh. All right, I need a quick break. I'm getting so many notifications. That one's Robinhood. That's fine. Gotta log my meal that I ate. I had some green beans and some bratwurst, which is one of my favorite meals. Yeah, I'm incredibly under calories today, so I should probably find something else to eat at some point. Maybe I'll even have a little bit of candy or something. A little bit of snacks. No, not you. The cat just made a sound. He thought I was talking to him. Okay. I'm probably gonna leave it there because I could spend all day like this and I've got other stuff to do. But thanks for hanging out, everyone. This was fun. I'll play this game again at some point. Probably on my own, but maybe on stream. I make no promises what the future will bring, just that it will be just as low effort as this was. So thank you. Just low effort as my stuff was. The game is fine. I realize now that it makes it sound like I think the game is low effort, and I don't